Hey, it's Em with the TGSTS podcast. Thank you for tuning in to another episode in our Sexy September series. In this episode, Mo and I talk about mental health and sex. Listen in as we discuss how medication impacts your libido, experiences we've had that impact both mental health and our sex lives, and just generally shoot the shit and have a great time. Hope you enjoy.
Because I feel like
Yeah.
sex is medicinal. It's healing.
Yeah.
If
Very healing.
in a certain,
Connection.
yeah, very healing. Connection. It can increase your confidence and increases your self-esteem. I know
Mm-hmm.
for me, when I have it, I feel more connected to the world. I feel
Mm-hmm.
happier. You'll see a little pep in my step. And
Yeah. Hey Mo.
hey, boo,
How's it
how you
going?
doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good for once. I'm glad to be good.
Oh
Feeling good
shoot, for once. It's a celebration.
for once. It's a celebration. I'm
Mm.
excited about this topic today.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about mental health and getting it
Oh,
on. Yeah. Woo.
it is sexy September. I keep forgetting. It's sexy September.
Yeah.
So we're talking about what mental health and
Exactly.
sex. That's
Yes.
not real sexy though.
Hey, if your mental health ain't right, you ain't gonna be sexy. Or sometimes
That's
they say the
true.
crazy bitches. What they say
The
that
crazier,
they
the
they
crazier, the better the sex. Is that what they say?
yeah, I heard that before.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. So, I mean, so what are we talking about? Mental health. And so, I mean, these are two topics we've talked about a lot. We talked about mental health a lot, and
Mhm.
we talk about sex every September. Um,
Yeah.
so what about them? I
And
mean,
sexual health and well-being,
yeah. But
the
everybody, I think
impact of
everybody
your mental
knows.
health.
Yeah, everybody knows your mental health impacts everything. So why
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
but
Yeah,
sex
why wouldn't
also
it?
impacts your mental health. So it's both sides. And then
Mm,
also being middle-aged women, talking
mm.
about the impacts of the things we go through, perimenopause, all of those impacts. Some people's libidos go way up, some go down. We talked about pregnancy and how
Damn.
pregnancy can impact your
How long is
mental
this episode
health
going to
and your
be? That's a
sexual
lot.
libido. Yeah, you silly.
That is a lot, though. That's a lot. I mean, we talk
Yeah,
about midlife all the time, and I feel like we're at a point in our lives where sex is crazy. Like all the
I
things going on
wish.
in your life. But I mean the hormonal changes, life
Yeah.
changes. We talk about midlife awakening, midlife crisis, midlife, all that stuff. All of that is going to have an impact on your sex life. The way you view yourself is going to have an
Yes.
impact on your sex life, your mental
Yes.
health,
Self-esteem.
medication, external
Hmm.
factors, stress levels, hormonal levels. If you have children, like time,
Hmm.
energy,
Hmm.
physical stuff, all of that.
Yeah.
So what's sex like in your 40s?
You would have to answer that. I wouldn't know.
I mean, I have a
I
lot of
mean,
stuff
for
to
me, I
share.
don't,
Go ahead.
for me personally, I don't
Oh, your
have
nails are
any
cute.
issue.
Mo
Thanks,
got some
boo.
baby
I
blue.
don't
She got
have
some
any,
baby blue.
I don't have any issues with libido or anything. My issue is having it. So, because I'm demisexual and not just gonna if I wanted to be out in these streets, I could be. But I've not had any of the side effects that I hear a lot of people say about not
Mm.
having a libido. If anything, my libido is too high and it's
Mm.
insatiable. So when it's
Damn.
high like that and you're not and you're not doing anything, it can cause mental health
That makes
impact
it
in another
worse.
way because
Yeah.
it makes it worse because you're not being satisfied and you're not meeting that
Damn.
basic human need.
Mm.
Yeah,
We are
it's
on opposite ends
unfortunate.
of the spectrum. We're coming from. See, I love that though. I love that I mean, I guess that's what this podcast is was started about. It's just viewing things from different perspectives. Because I think we started
Hmm.
talking about it, and um, I had a whole different experience from what you're talking about. And I think I'm a
Hmm.
mom of three. And after my second, I had postpartum depression. After my third, I had postpartum depression, anxiety, really bad.
Damn.
I was a stay-at-home mom, pretty isolated, three small kids.
Mhm.
My husband worked far away, so I was literally alone with the kids from like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. till about 8 or 9 at night. And it was just me, no adults, no nothing, just me and children,
Mhm.
plus hormones going crazy. Just had some kids. Just a lot of mental,
Just had some
obviously.
kids.
Yeah, but I mean, three small children, and just that
Mhm.
was my whole uh environment, for my whole
Yeah.
life, for every day. Um, and so I sought out some help because I was having scary thoughts, and they put
Mhm.
me on some anti-anxiety antidepressants,
Mhm.
SSRIs or whatever. I think it was
Yes.
Zoloft or sertraline or whatever
Mhm.
the medication was called. Um, and one of the side effects for that, I asked my friends, because you talk to other friends like, hey, how does this,
Mhm.
what are the side effects? Is it okay? How do you feel? Can you breastfeed? Can you do this? Can you want to know?
Mhm. Yeah,
And
important.
everybody's
Yeah.
like, yeah, like it didn't impact my sex life. I can still drink alcohol, like all the things you want to know.
Mhm.
But for me, it caused major problems in my marriage. I
Oh,
was no longer,
wow.
I had no desire to have sex, was not interested at all. No physical response to
Damn.
touch, nothing. I mean, my husband would kiss me, touch me. I felt nothing. I like was numb. I was
Wow.
emotionally numb, physically numb. And looking back, I mean, in the moment, I felt um, kind of like a pressure to do things that my body and my mind were not responding to. And I think looking back, I
Mhm.
feel terrible, because how would you feel, like, from my husband's perspective, how was he feeling? You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
how is he feeling
Unwanted.
to be rejected? And he's very
Mhm.
much a love language of physical touch. Um,
Yeah.
and so for literal years, we went
Oh
through
my gosh.
a terrible,
Through thick
terrible.
and thin.
I mean, we were still, there were times I would, sadly, this sounds terrible, go through the motions, or maybe
Mhm.
every so often I would feel a little bit of okay. But some of the
Mhm.
side effects of SSRIs we looked up, um, and they're like lower libido, decreased ability to orgasm. There was no WAP, okay? So decreased lubrication,
Mm.
vaginal lubrication for
Oh no,
men.
not the desert up in there.
So which makes it unenjoyable, right? Like, you're not going to be
Yeah.
having a good time if you're not primed. Um,
Yeah.
for men, it's delayed ejaculation or failure to ejaculate. So men who are on antidepressants have these side effects
Mhm.
too. And I just think it's so jacked up that, like, you're going through things in the first place. You're depressed, you're overly anxious, you're having these feelings, and the best they can do
Mhm.
is give you a medication that's gonna fuck up your sex
Make
life
you
and make it even worse for
Yeah.
you.
Make you
I
more
mean,
depressed.
I mean, what? So, I mean, is this the best we got? Like, because it really, and thankfully, I'm no longer on these medications. I'm on a different
Mhm.
medication that now has me on the opposite end of the spectrum. So things are really
Woo-hoo.
popping off over
Welcome.
here. Right. So it's
Must be nice.
working. It's not, it is. It's a beautiful thing over here. But just finding a balance would be nice. Finding some sort of a balance.
Yes.
I mean, I'd rather be on this end than where I was before. I'm sure my husband would agree, um, but
Yeah.
it does. It causes problems. It causes emotional numbing too, but physical numbing, which causes the sexual
Ooh.
dysfunction. Yeah, it's sad. It's really sad.
And and I think, like we said before, there are impacts to men and women, but I think as
Hmm.
far as women and the midlife hormonal changes and everything, these are something that the medical industry isn't really looking at. It's taken this long for people to even look at women's health.
Hmm.
So there's got to be something out there that will allow you to treat your depression, anxiety, and still treat your depression, anxiety with sex, because I feel like sex
Yeah.
is medicinal. It's healing.
Yeah.
If
Very healing.
in a certain,
Connection.
yeah, very healing. Connection. It can increase your confidence and increases your self-esteem. I know for
Hmm.
me, when I have it, I feel more connected to the world. I feel happier.
Hmm.
You'll see a little pep in my step. And
Yeah. Especially a
yeah,
little walk. You
and
got a
I
little.
can't, yeah, a little walk. But and even though I'm not having it, like feeling that makes just having that desire kind of makes you feel alive sometimes. We'll joke sometimes, like I was watching the DNC and they
Oh,
had some
yes.
cuties come up and I feel alive. Like,
Make the cootie
it's
jump.
fun. Yeah, it's part of being a human being.
Yeah. It reminds you you're alive. That's a
Yeah.
huge part of life. It's a very huge part of life. And it's a
Hmm.
natural, important part of being alive. Yeah. So I think the way that we address mental health needs to be focused on and maybe fine-tuned, because I don't think that these medications that are
Hmm.
available to us are doing anybody any favors as far as just numbing people physically and emotionally. It's just numbing people. And while it does kind
Yeah.
of help, I guess, um, it's not solving anything. It's just putting a band-aid on something and letting you kind of numb your way through life, which isn't
Yeah, a
not,
Band-Aid.
yeah, yeah.
I wonder if it depends on the levels of your depression, anxiety, because I've been on a few throughout my life, and never, ever have I had an impact on my libido. I
Hmm.
would love to. Sometimes I wish I was excited to see that side effect, because then that's something I don't have to worry about. I don't, I'm because I'm dealing with the opposite side of having this desire and not being able to get it fulfilled in the way I want it to be
Hmm.
fulfilled. I would love for it to be suppressed and not have
Yeah.
to feel that. I say that. I don't know if that actually happened, how I would feel, but ideally, in my mind, it would be ideal, because I wouldn't be sitting here without a partner, hoping to have sex and not being able to, because I'm not just going to go on the street and have sex with anybody.
Not the street. Would probably suck either way. I get the feeling that no matter what situation we're in, it's probably going to be bad. Like
Yeah.
wherever we find ourselves, there's probably, I think when you're dealing with mental health and sex, it's just, there's always going to be like what's normal? I guess that's the question I have. What is normal? Like,
Well,
are there
from what
people
I've
out there
heard,
just normal? Like, what does normal feel like? What is that?
partnered people generally don't have that much sex. Like, that's been the consensus of what I've heard. It's not like they're, which is it's crazy, because I'm like, you got the person right there. Like, you can
But
just have it
after a
whenever you
while, it
want.
wears off, though. Like, I mean, if
Okay.
you think about it, like you can only drink and go hard for so long, right?
Go
And
hard.
then no, but
Yeah.
then after a while it's like, okay, well, I can't be like blackout drunk every single day of the week, or I
Yeah.
can't binge till I'm gonna throw it. Like you can't have
Hmm.
all of that all the time. You have to do life, And so I think it's
Hmm.
in the beginning, especially in the beginning of relationships, there's that, I don't know if it's dopamine or that high, that like, whoo, and you
Hmm.
want to keep doing it and keep doing it and you do, and then after a while, it
Yeah.
doesn't. You're not feeling that anymore. It's like it's fun, but it's I
Okay.
got to do the dishes and laundry, like and if you
Yeah.
introduce
Shoot,
children,
you could do it while you're doing the dishes and laundry
uh,
too. Shoot. Kevin
they be
Tam will break
trying,
it
they
on
be
down.
trying. It's like I can't. But it's,
Tumble.
I don't know. I don't know. But things become routine. I think that's when,
Hmm.
relationships break down too, is you kind of take for granted what you have and things become routine.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to
So,
keep spicing it up. And I think that's part of midlife, is knowing yourself, being more comfortable in your body. That's going to make
mm-hmm.
you be more comfortable in being with your partner, making you be more open, more communicative, like expressing
Ooh,
your needs, all
ooh.
of those types of things. Like, so growing up, getting older, it's good parts too, but
Hmm.
speaking on the bad stuff, like your hormones are changing, you start growing a beard, maybe, like all
Damn,
these
a
different things
beard.
that maybe that take you out of like feeling feminine or feeling sexy or sexual. And those are things that happen as well. So it's just all over the place at this age. It really is. And it's like, if you want to be biblical or something about it, there's
Not
no
biblical.
chance of reproducing or anything. So it's
Mm.
like you're just doing it strictly for the pleasure at this
I mean,
point.
women still having
So,
babies up until their 50s and stuff. I don't,
well, I
I,
hope so. I mean, for me, I hope so one
that's a
day.
nightmare.
But
Mm-mm. Don't bring that over here. Uh-uh. Ooh. Well, mental health too, I guess there's another side to it where you could be hypersexual or hypersexed, right? Um,
Mm,
I don't know. There's some medications out there that I think have the opposite side effect. It's a little less common,
hmm.
but your sex drive and your libido can be increased. Um, And I think they call it hypersexed or hyper, I don't know
Okay.
what it's called.
Ooh, that could
Um,
cause problems too.
yeah, but I think it's not just sex drive. I think it carries over into a lot of aspects of your life where you have like food addiction. Like a lot of things just are to the extreme. Like you're
Hmm.
seeking things out to the extreme, and sex happens to
Yeah.
be one of those things. And I think that might be a pleasure seeking issue or something like that. I don't know how you would deal with
Mm.
that, but I think that's when you
Your
start
reward
getting,
system.
yeah, yeah. And I think that's when you start getting into the dangerous behaviors, like the super
Hmm.
promiscuity, the dangerous, maybe just dangerous sexual practices, unsafe sex and
Yeah.
things like that. That's scary. Yeah.
Yeah, that's scary because, if someone's, I mean, you're lucky, but a lot of times people won't last for years. They'll go get it on the side. And then that's
Yeah.
gonna make the person who is not able to have sex vulnerable and at risk. That's risking everybody's health. That's risking a family. That's risking a lot. So if people are hypersexed and off of medication and they're not getting it fulfilled, and it's that they're so driven in like tunnel vision where they can't think of anything else, they might do something crazy, like you said, and then risk other
Yeah.
people's health, risk their own health.
Yeah.
And then you're dealing with a whole series of other problems because now you have another issue to deal with, and you're going to be even
Mm.
more whatever you were trying to treat in the first
If
place.
you're still alive, because there's crazy
If you're
people out
still
there.
alive.
Yep.
And I saw, did you see like in South Carolina, I think there were 15,000 cases of HIV reported or something. So it's like,
Is there an
I,
uptick?
you, there's an uptick in syphilis, things
Oh
that
my
we hadn't really heard
gosh.
about in a long time. In Houston, Texas, you see a lot, Atlanta, South Carolina was this HIV uptick. So there's a
What is
lot going on
happening?
with STIs and people just being more promiscuous. I mean, this is my take,
Apps?
is that the apps, the casual, the lack of commitment we have going on, but also the focus on COVID. People were so worried about COVID, they forgot there are other diseases out there. Oh, I wear
Yeah,
a mask,
right?
but I'm not wearing a
Not wearing a
condom.
condom.
Like,
Stop it.
make
If they
it
fucking with a mask on, it ain't gonna
right.
rub
Going raw with a mask.
them.
Like, make it make
Oh
sense.
no, that is
Because I always
what a
noticed that.
world.
So I'm off the apps. If anybody sees me on the app, call me on my stuff because I really am off the apps. And when I was on it, I would see people be like vaxxed, COVID free. But like, what about the other stuff?
Yeah.
This is an app where
Have
you
you
could
taken your
potentially meet
HIV
a
test? Have you
mate.
taken, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Are you tested? Are you healthy? You
That
those
was a
types of
big thing when I
things.
was dating. It was like,
Hmm.
when was the last time you were tested? Okay, then we're going together to go
Yeah.
get tested. Like, I'm not messing around with that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and people don't do that anymore, it sounds like. That was a big thing for me. I mean,
Yeah.
this was like in the early 2000s. When was the last time you were tested? Let's go. We're going to go together. I'm not
Exactly.
messing around.
And in the 2000s, I was testing for everything. Even if they said they don't
Mm-hmm.
test for it anymore, I'm like,
Yep.
test me.
Because there's all kind of
Because
stuff coming out. I don't know what people got.
yeah, right. And then plus I
Ugh.
was younger, so it wasn't like I was waiting until marriage or anything. So it's like you have to have some kind of baseline.
Mm-hmm. Mm, mm, mm,
Mm-mm-mm.
mm. I don't know. Sex and mental health.
But then also the femininity part, like I said, like I feel like this is the cougar era. This is like
Hey.
this is the time where you see like kind of a lot of women's libidos go up because we're
Yes.
reaching into menopause and all that thing. So you see you see a lot of older women with younger men. I think it's because they're probably matching at that point. Their libidos
Yeah.
are matching. And I can't say that it's an age thing for me because I've been like this since I can remember. Like I've never had a problem. Like unless I'm not attracted to you or something, then that's different though. But the desire is always there. And it makes it frustrating. But I feel like now at this age, if I wanted to go out and do it, I'd do it. That's not the kind of person I am. But you see a
Right.
lot of cougars out here just living
Getting it.
life, getting it. I'm like, I'll listen to your stories.
Well, I think also, I mean, is self-esteem, self-esteem's a part of mental health, right? I think
Uh-huh.
like
A
self-awareness and stuff.
big, huge part.
And because I think that is the part, I think once you get to our age, I think you reach a point we talked about when we turned 40 in the pandemic, we were like, I don't give a shit
Mhm.
anymore. I don't care. You can't
Yeah.
tell me nothing. Like, I don't care. And I think
Mhm.
that that piece and the ending of the outward focus and focusing within it and thinking about what do I like? What do I really care about? Who am I as a person? And realizing who you are as a sexual being and understanding what you like, what you don't like, and not being
Mhm.
afraid or ashamed to speak that and say, hey, I don't like that, or
Yes.
move over this way, or don't start, or like
Mhm.
just to be able to communicate those things without shame or without being shy.
Yes.
Because I feel like when you're younger, you don't speak up for yourself in any context. You don't speak up for yourself. And
Oof.
now it's like, especially like sexually, it's like, I will let you know, husband, because that's the only person I'm with,
Yeah.
but I will let you know. And
Thanks
it's
for
a
clarifying.
it's a beautiful relationship though. Like that's
Mhm.
it's empowering. And I think that
That sounds fun.
it's good for your mental health too, because it
Mhm.
you speak up, you ask for what you want and you get it. Because I think men are very
Yeah.
much like that. Like you tell them what you want, they'll give it to you. You just got to let them know. Like they can't read your
Yeah, let them
mind.
know. Yeah, and I think in our younger years, in my younger years, I can say I did expect them to read my mind
Yeah,
and I
they
would
don't
be so
know.
disappointed. So it was like
Yeah.
I had the drive, but then I was constantly disappointed
Mm-hmm.
because I wasn't getting my needs met. It was like more focusing on them
Mm-hmm.
getting their needs
Always.
met because that's just, yeah,
Always.
and I don't know why.
And
But
thinking
yeah.
back, thinking back, I feel like sex was about their climax. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And then it was over. You know what I mean? Like there was no like, hey, I'm here too. Like there was no,
Yeah.
I don't know. And I feel like now at this age, it's about mine. Like we're worried
Mhm.
about
Gotta
me,
get
because you will
Yeah.
always finish. Like it's me.
Mhm.
Like we're doing me first, and I think that that's something that comes with age too, and with a healthier mental health is being able to say,
Yes.
hey, I count too. I'm here too.
Mhm.
And speaking up for yourself. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's
And I
important.
just hoped, yeah, because I feel like for me personally, I've not gotten that close with people to be able to be in a committed relationship and be like, okay, this is what I want, this is what I'm doing.
Hmm.
Um, so I can't really speak on it. I don't know what I would do. I don't know. I think I say I'll do a thing, but saying and doing, those are
Yeah.
are two different things because I noticed like we were talking about the apps earlier. When I'm out, I've shown you, like when I'm out, the people I meet, I probably wouldn't talk to on an app. So I can't say what the real world would look like for me as far as that. That's going to take getting to know someone, building trust, feeling comfortable, feeling safe, which is the
Safe.
key, and feeling secure. And like you said, it's a self-esteem thing. I know I'm a bigger woman, so having somebody who's going to embrace that and like touch those folds and touch that belly and
Uh,
love it.
Wipe your fold.
Love
What
it.
was it that you used to say? Change
Oh
my
yeah,
diaper
my
and wipe my
600 pound,
folds.
change my diaper and wipe my fold, my 600
Oh
pound life.
Lord. Mm-mm. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I don't know. How about the emotional part of it though? I think the meant like because sex is more than just
Ooh, yeah.
physical, right? Like sex
Yeah.
is very emotional. And I think maybe that's part of why I have a hard time understanding the no strings attached promiscuous type of sex that's going on now because I've never been one to do
Carnal.
that. I don't understand
Hmm.
that. Um
Animal.
So so there is and I from what I'm understanding from what you say, you're demisexual, I feel like is you have to have some sort of an emotional of an emotional
Hmm.
connection to share the physical. And I don't know that I fall into that category, demisexual, but I do have that feeling. I mean, I feel like you have to have that
Hmm.
connection. Um so what is that? I wonder how mental health impacts that. Like if you are unsure or unable to make that connection because mental health will impact emotional connections too. So if you can't have
Yes.
sex without an emotional connection because your mental health is impacting your emotional connection, that's another kind of
Hmm.
step or layer into it that impacts, your ability to get it. And that's
Yeah,
frustrating.
because you can't. Yeah, so then that makes your mental health even worse.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I'm
connections.
demisexual, and I've had limited demisexual, excuse me, demisexual encounters, and that's why it's because you need to have that emotional connection. If I'm out trying to be something that I'm not
Mm.
because I just want to scratch that itch, it's
Scratch
not
it.
going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to have that connection. I have to feel safe, supported, cared for, and I need to feel that for the other person as well. And so that's why I consider myself demisexual, because there has to be some kind of emotional connection. I
Hmm.
just can't, and that can be, when I say emotional connection, I don't necessarily mean some kind of long-term
Like
connection.
love. Uh-huh.
Sometimes it's like an energy thing where you just feel bonded to a person, and
Hmm.
that counts to me. And so
Yeah.
it's just seeing them more than a body. Like I
Yeah.
can't just go like, well, I'm horny, let me go get this body. I wish I could do that, but I can't.
So how does lust play into that? So you need more than
What is
lust.
lust?
I mean, just like
Yeah, more
a
than lust.
more than lust. Okay.
Yeah, lust is the bare minimum.
Mm. I'm trying to
But I
think
think
because I've
when your default, when you're already, for instance, you're already in a loving, caring, safe, connected relationship. So if you have these lustful feelings and you act on it, you're not being lustful
I'm
technically, because you
yeah, I'm
already
free to
have the
do it.
stuff already.
Yeah. But I'm trying
Yeah.
to think back to like the beginnings of my, me and my husband or whatever. And like just I mean, the way we started wasn't it probably wasn't something you would
Hmm.
do. So,
Yeah.
um it was a very, so I wonder. I don't know if it was like I mean,
I
there's
have a
I don't know.
question,
Yes. I have an answer, I'm
because
sure.
you're not the first person to mention that. Do you think that by maybe not being demisexual, or and being intimate with people, like your partner, sooner, that it makes them fall in love with you or something? Put it on them, make him want to marry you.
Is that this thing?
maybe maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I need to just be out there trying to put it on.
Um uh
or or is it just like that knowing thing that you jump 20 levels, like I'm feeling this connection with you. I'm ready to act on it. And the rest is just speaks for itself.
I don't even know how to answer that really. I'm thinking about it and I'm thinking about
Mm-hmm.
the headspace I was in when I met my husband. And I wasn't thinking
Mm-hmm.
of meeting a husband. I was like, you know what? I'm doing me because I have not listened to myself or prioritized myself for years, my whole life. So it's about me, period. And I'm gonna get what I want. I'm gonna do what I want, period. And that's where I was. And what I wanted in that moment
You
was,
sure, girl? I have a
yeah,
completely different memory. I
that's
remember you wanting a man.
Oh, I think probably like it just in the general sense, but I wasn't looking at him like I'm going to marry this man. I knew I wanted what I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think I was on the hunt for that. In that moment, I was
Oh,
like,
I
well,
think
this is
you were.
stressful. And I don't think I was looking at this
The,
23-year-old kid as he's
the,
going to be my husband. Um,
okay.
but in that moment, though, it wasn't anything but I want it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know where it was going
I
to
want it, and
go.
I want it now.
I don't know where it was going to go.
You put it
So
on him, girl.
I
Now
sure
look
did.
at you.
I sure did.
So that's
uh,
another thing, like putting it on. Yeah.
like Maya, didn't she
I
say
don't
that?
know.
Put it on me. Get the best of me. What was
Mm,
that? I don't know.
put it on, man.
I mean, I think there's something
Ja
to that.
Rule.
I think that men are very physical
Mm-hmm.
creatures, um, visual, physical, whatever. And I think women are probably emotional, and I think that sex ties both of those things together. So
Yeah.
for men, it may be a lasting impression because of the physical sensations that you've been able to create for them. And I
Mm-hmm.
think for women, it may be a lasting impression because of the emotional bond that they feel that they formed with you. So
Mm-hmm.
if you both get something from it, may not be the same. You may be getting something from it though. Um, it may be the basis or the foundation for something else to grow. If you both enjoy
Yeah. And
that
I think
experience.
one of the negative parts of being demisexual is that you sex can bring about feelings of love
Mm,
and feelings of closeness and emotion, and can trick you into thinking you're in love. And so that's something that you have to be careful with when you are the type of person I am, because maybe that's how men are. Maybe I'm like a man. Like, I don't know. Like, put it on me. I'm gonna fall in love with you.
Mm. Like those soul ties. We used to talk about soul ties. Yeah,
I
I don't
still don't
know.
know what those are.
Like a connection. Everybody that you've shared your body with has been there's a connection there.
Hmm.
A soul tie. Like you've
Yep.
given a piece of your, because I think, I mean, this is going to sound weird, but sex is a meeting of souls, a meeting of, it's not just you put your P in a
I
V and
believe
that's
that.
it. It's two
Yeah, I
beings
agree.
coming together. And I think the
It's
more that people
energy
are out,
exchange,
yeah, the more that people are out here just giving it, it's kind of, it's sad to me
ruining
a little
everything.
bit. Yeah, it is a little sad because I feel like it's such a beautiful, like, energy exchange, like you said, and like it's two beings coming together. It's not
Hmm.
just uh this nasty physical thing. Um,
Yeah.
Even if it is a nasty physical thing, you're still two beings coming together and exchanging
Yeah.
parts of yourself. Um, yeah, I don't know.
I think that's the most important part. I don't think there's rhyme or reason. I don't think people in poor mental health have great sex. You know, people with great mental health have bad sometimes. It just is, it is what it is. I, like you said, like I've known people who've had sex early and gotten married, have people who've had sex late and not gotten married.
Yeah.
So it's just like there's no rhyme or reason. It's
Yeah.
really the connection between the people. You can try to read books, write books, and all this stuff, but it ultimately comes down to that, those pheromones, those hormones, and like the connection of the two people. I think that's honestly what it boils down to. So until you find that, then it may trick your brain into thinking into low self-esteem or low mental health, but it shouldn't, because it's the luck of the draw. And
Yeah.
it's the luck of the draw.
And these medications ain't helping anybody. Period.
Well, they're not
They
helping me.
didn't help me either. But
Take away my libido. Take it away.
when I say take away, I mean it wasn't just take away. It was like physically I felt nothing. It was like I might as well
I
have
don't
had my
even know what
clothes
that feels
on.
like.
Like it was, let me just, this is, I'm just putting this out there for whoever's listening. I hope there's no children or sensitive ears. But it's like imagine receiving with your clothes on.
Hmm.
How are you supposed to
Yes.
feel anything with your clothes on? That's how I felt.
Oh, that's horrible.
I didn't feel, I like had no sensitivity, no feeling.
I don't know. I've had a
Like
good
that's terrible.
dry rub. I've had a
It was
good dry rub in my past.
it's terrible. I don't think I've ever done anything like
Yeah.
that. Dry rub. That's some like 13-year-old on the pillow stuff. I
Right?
yeah, no, I don't know about that. But just it's that bad. Like I don't know how a medication can do that. It's one thing to mentally
Hmm.
say, "Hey, I don't want to do that," but physically I physically did not feel touch down there only. Like how am I just dead down there? That was terrible. Terrible. So get it together,
Wow.
big pharma. Rude.
Yes, get it together. We need more women out here who understand a woman's body from a personal point of view to advocate as well, because this is,
Mhm.
I mean, I know, like we said, everybody has side effects. You have like the thing they call the whiskey D, which is kind of the
Mm,
same thing you're talking
yeah.
about with that. And
Yeah.
so there are some chemical impacts on it, but if you're trying to treat something as important as your mental health and your
Mhm.
depression and anxiety and things like that, to give somebody, I'm trying to find a good analogy. It's like you're trying to treat obesity and you give me a extra large pizza. Like it doesn't make any sense. It's gonna you're
I
doing
think
the
also
opposite.
I think also, I mean, I've failed to mention this, and I should have done this earlier, not in the last few bits of the episode. But I think
Girl, edit it in.
one of the things that's really turned it around for me, which we should have led with, is the importance of therapy. Like replacing the medication or less focus on the medication and more important focus on talking with somebody, finding coping mechanisms, working through the issues that are at the
Yes.
root of the problem and finding ways to prevent the breakdowns and the ramp ups of panic attacks and things like that. And and working through it so that you're stronger as an individual without medications and different substances to help you. So you feel more empowered to handle your mental health. I think that's a
Hmm.
huge tool um, that can help you have a healthier sex life and just a healthier mental health.
Yes,
Yeah,
I am a strong advocate of therapy. It's changed
very
my
much.
life. It's changed the way I see the world. It's
It's
the way I
changed
see
mine.
myself,
Yeah.
the way I operate in the world. So definitely, you can't
Hmm.
just depend on medication alone. And like you said,
Yeah.
if you do therapy, sometimes you won't even have to need medication. So
Hmm.
strong advocate of therapy and supporting our mental health and eventually supporting our sex lives or all whatever else it
Hmm.
touches.
And I think also surrounding yourself with people who support your mental health. Like, I think one of the big things in the last several years for me has been like supportive friends, like having a core
Hmm.
group or a place you can go to unload if you need to unload, or to ask
Yes.
questions without judgment, or just share what's going on in your life, and know that you have a safe place to go. Because I think
Yes.
after I had that third child, I didn't have anywhere. I felt like I had nowhere to go. And I think that was
Oh,
like the lowest point for me. And so I think having a therapist, having a safe place to go, a safe friend or a safe
support
group of
system.
friends, yeah,
Hmm.
is huge. And hopefully that helps your sex too. I mean, I don't know if that's just a good life thing to have, but I mean, if it helps your sex, that's good too.
Yeah, and it's also good. It's like a sanity check or reality check.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can find out, wait, this
I'm
is normal
tripping.
what I'm going through.
Or I'm
Yeah, or
tripping.
or I'm tripping. Yeah, I'm crazy. What's going
Yeah.
on?
Or everybody's dealing with, yeah. Hey, this is just perimenopause, or
Yeah,
oh, my
you're
period's
not
coming.
alone.
Right,
Hmm.
right.
Exactly.
So, yeah. And that's important.
And
So,
that's, oh man, we got a couple minutes. That's something important too, is that we're not talking about the perimenopause part and the
mm,
periods and the PPMD,
mm.
where that can really fluctuate your sexual desire and your mental health and everything. And then it's just gone because your hormones have fluctuated again. So
Well, you know what?
being
That's a good thing that we should talk about. Let's talk about that on the live that follows this episode. So if you're listening now,
okay.
we're going to be on YouTube following this episode. Hope you're following us on Instagram, because we'll post when we're going to be on YouTube live.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that. We can talk about perimenopause and menopause and hormones
Hmm.
and whatever else you were
Yeah,
thinking
let's do
about.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's a huge piece that doesn't get talked about enough, for sure. Hmm.
Exactly. Any final thoughts?
No, just I hope everybody's getting it in. I don't know.
Well, not meanie. You're so
Let's
mean.
go
That's
get you.
so
Let's go find you.
insensitive.
You need to find another demisexual so you guys understand each other
Yes.
and can connect
Hmm.
in a way that you guys need.
Yes.
So,
Amen.
mm,
Any out there in the PNW?
yeah,
Hey.
hey. Oh, I stay looking. I'm gonna let you know.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Bye.
right, see ya.